What I mean by that is, if you want to describe that term, you go in your favorite cafe bar first time and you order the coffee and nobody knows your name, nobody knows what you drink as usual. Next time when you show up, they already know what type of coffee you drink, they already know your name, right? So if you miss 14, 15 days in that cafe bar, they're gonna tell, hey man, where are you? What happened? Is everything okay? Because they care about you. They used to see you in their bar. And finally, you're gonna come with your friends, right? Share the story on the Instagram, how you're drinking the coffee in that bar. And from the perspective of the bar, that's the customer loyalty. It's applicable the same in the business. And that's how I try to, I'm not gonna say full story, but I'm gonna try to find that one piece of the context and compare that with the current topic that I'm writing. And I think that's the way how I'm trying to stand out.
Before we dive into today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow and inspire more people on their journeys. Thank you. Hello, Seb. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Thomas, for having me, and I hope you have a great day so far.
So, Seb, for those who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Saba. I'm content marketing expert. Before I started LinkedIn, I never have any type of experience with online world. I mean, I have a social media account, but from terms of business perspective, I never do anything. So I was chasing for a job, looking, to see and find a new job. And I realized, why not to start posting the content? Meanwhile, one of the biggest creator, which is Yasmin Ali, he was from my country. He was starting and he posting a lot of content, and I reach out to him and tell him, okay, man, do you have any advice? And he told me, just start. And I just start posting the random content, learning along the way. And where I get to the point that I post a lot of, let's say, bad content and low quality.
Like all of us.
Yeah. And I realized, okay, I made a lot of mistakes. Why not? I can position myself as a not content marketing expert, but somebody who have, let's say, almost 1 year experience on LinkedIn. I have a few really good posts. I don't know. I book calls, I book sponsorships, and I have a really bad post as well. So I figure out, why not to position myself like that person combined with the AI, and I just starting, let's say, officially to getting few clients. And, it was great. Then I realized, I don't know, are you familiar with that if all of us start, have a more time on LinkedIn, you figure out maybe why not to offer the LinkedIn services as a package. Now you have a fan post, for example. I offer I don't know.
My favorite one.
Yeah. I offer the content marketing services, and then I realized, why not to pivot into the industry, which is right now for me affiliate marketing, and I pivot 2 months ago because I don't want to be a person like that offering the LinkedIn services for founder and CEOs, that which sounds broad. I want to be the person that maybe I can own the one niche, one industry, and that's the reason why I pivoted to this. Before that, I have 3 clients from that industry as well. So they opened me the eyes, and I saw the gap that nobody served to these specific people. So I tried. Right now, I'm that phase where I'm building the waiting list. I'm going to launch soon. And yeah.
And if we go back in time, like when you started on LinkedIn, you mentioned that you noticed Yasmin, and obviously everyone knows Yasmin is the big name. So did you know that he's already on LinkedIn, or was it coincidence that you noticed such a big name and he was coincidentally from the same country as you?
I noticed him on LinkedIn, and thank God an algorithm that pushed me his post to my feed, and I go on his profile, check it out. The guy, I saw I think in that time he has around 100K plus followers. That was 2 years ago, I think. And okay, let's say I'm gonna reach out to him, just ask for advice, and he replied in, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I saw, okay, man, look this, he found some time for me. Then I realized that it's not just for me, he's just that person. He's really kind. And later on, he become my mentor. I know him personally. We go on burgers. I go on his.
Yeah, I know it's his favorite food. I read it the other day.
Yes. So yeah, that's how it started on the LinkedIn. Before the LinkedIn, if you want to know, my first job was in cryptocurrencies. So I work in one call center, and we work with like a, I don't know, some type of trading academy where we was following what happening with the Bitcoin. Back then it was around 2.5K, and we was exploring what happening on market, what's going to happen next. Back then I never tell this to my colleagues ever, but I take a loan from the bank and I invest in the Bitcoin and I lose everything. I think it was around 7K, 8K
Oh,
USD, which was for me and in my country a really huge amount because the average salary here it was back then around 500 euros. I was working for that same salary, but plus some bonuses as well.
yeah.
And I was fell in love in that story, but at the one moment Bitcoin was going up, it was around 10K. Then I decided to invest this loan from the bank and I keep it quiet between my colleagues because it was, it was really stupid situation to tell them. Later on, I talked to your friends and yeah.
That's what happens when you invest. It's on top. You invest and it goes down. All right.
Yeah, it was really expensive lesson, but I have one more. Like after the call center, after I finished that, I moved into the tourism. And it was my discovery path. First time in my life, I feel that I find some type of passion because when I was younger, I was really lost. Like I, I a lot of talk about I should do this, I should do that. I never take real action. I mean, I take some of them, but not in the long term. For example, when you compare right now with the LinkedIn, you and me are right now over 1 year. And if you ever wants to stop, you will always think, okay, man, I invest 1 year in this. Come on, I cannot stop right now. So I'm never gonna turn back, right? So I never took that type of action. I go into the tourism. I have a funny thing. I have an archery school during the summer in Croatia. I was working 3 months every season, and it was really great experience for me. I even get some promotion. It wasn't just archery. I was planning the tourism plan for the season, whatever it is. Then I have a really great offer to go in Italy for the winter season, and in that moment the corona happened, and you know what happened with tourism. It was blast.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, so I realized, okay, I cannot work in tourism. All of my, I don't know, I have a passion, but that year I need the money, so I took one boring corporate job. I was a manager in Post, and I stayed 3 years there. And yeah, after that, I realized I cannot work this anymore. I need to figure out something, and that's the reason why I started LinkedIn. First to find the job, then I become a creator.
Well, it's interesting and always cool to hear stories like this because everyone has like a different story how you ended up on LinkedIn, and this is something I didn't know. So I'm glad to hear that. And you never know where it goes from there. It's like a completely new career. You meet new exciting people. You do like
Yeah.
I don't know podcast and stuff like this, and you would never do it like that otherwise.
Yeah, man. I never imagined this. Like, even this podcast, it's a huge pleasure to have, to talk with you. But I realize, you just need to take that action and enjoying the process all the time. But wait, by the way, when I start LinkedIn, I have another loan from the bank because here the life is really expensive. A lot of us, the Bosnians, I don't know, in the Europe as well, they have the loans in the banks. So you can, I don't know, pay the rent, buy something new or whatever it is, go in the summer. It was really because the standard of living it's really low here. And if you wanted to go on holiday somewhere, a lot of people taking the loan. So when I start the LinkedIn journey, I start with around 30K in debt. And I think this year in January, I closed that. I mean, 30K, when you compare for the average salary here, you need around 5 to 10 years to turn back to the bank. I managed it right now, like in 2 years, because of the LinkedIn, because of the revenue I started and everything.
Yeah. So do you now see LinkedIn as kind of career for the, you never know, but for the rest of the life right now, or to continue with that?
Yeah, I see definitely I see the LinkedIn as my primary resource just for the business, relationship, and everything else. I'm really looking forward to invest in this platform a lot of time. At the same time, I'm building my newsletter, which is, to be honest,
AI case study.
yeah, we have a AI case study as a, I don't know, sponsorship type of the newsletter where we pushing and talking about AI tools. But now I have a grow with the flow where I share my personal stories about the business. Now it's really great moment for me to push the grow with the flow because, as I said, I pivoted to the new industry, which is affiliate. But at the same time, I build around 2 years. I build different type of people, which is my audience. So I thinking about how I can serve to both of them is why not to share my story, building in a public way how I serve to that industry, wins, challenges, and everything, and share that with my broader audience so they can learn as well. So I keep that balanced approach right now. And newsletter is my priority, to be honest with
Yeah, and it's on Substack, right?
you. Yes.
The grow with the flow, and the other one is on Beehive.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, why did you pick the platform? Because that's something that I've been thinking about when choosing my newsletter. We are both on Substack, but I'd be curious to hear from you.
No, I keep the newsletter from on the Substack, but I move on the Beehive again because
Oh, really?
I don't know, like,
Right.
yeah, I don't write anymore on the, I mean, I have an active profile on the Substack, but I don't know. I use almost 1 year Beehive, 1.5, and I just make that habit that I like the platform. I know it's different philosophy of the Substack and Beehive. Substack is more about reader, and Beehive have that monetization network and everything else. But when you consider the possibility on the Beehive, if you ask me personally, you don't need to run the ad network. For example, in my case, we run ad network with AI case study, but for my personal newsletter, I only accept the ad if I see that is really valuable for me, and that was, I don't know, 1 or 2 times per month.
Yeah, I get it.
And I choose Beehive because it have amazing automations. For example, when I building my lead magnet, and if I want to upsell that, I cannot do it with the Substack, in the one funnel. But with the Beehive, I can build even landing page on Beehive. Then I can create automation, and everything. Then in that automation, I can include welcome email sequence, lead magnet, and 3 to 4 follow-up emails to upsell some things, which is really great for me. Beside that, Beehive have a really great other features as well.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah. Then if we go back a bit again, as you started on LinkedIn, can you say more? What was it like for you, like deciding on what type of career you're going to pursue there? Because I'm sure there are many people who want to, build a brand on LinkedIn, monetize it, find ways how to make money. So for you, what was it like? Because if I understood correctly, you went there to look for the job, but you ended up building your brand there. So have you got any advice or describe your journey a bit more?
Yeah, from my experience, if I look back, I can really be proud of myself. And right now, it's not the perfect as well. Like, but when I started, I didn't know anything about I know about marketing in general, I learned in college and everything, but when you don't apply it, it just vanish. And once I start applying, and that's the reason why I wanted to, let's say, build something and immediately create a content about it. And that way I learn at the starting point. Once you put more content, more quantity, you realize what is the quality, and then you understand how you can maybe even find a new niche, your ICP, and to serve them with your content. And I think the only advice I can give for someone who wants to start, it's not overcomplicated, overthink, just start, be prepared to post bad content. And yeah, and you will, during the time you will get figured out.
It just reminds me, I think I read it today or maybe yesterday, that if you look at your old content and you don't cringe, you started late. But I think it's kind of funny because at least you see the progress that you've made. And, let's be honest, I think that pretty much like everyone cringes on old content as you progress, as you develop and improve.
Maybe it's a great post idea to screenshot first for content that I share and break it down and compare it with the new one.
Yeah. And do you remember, like, when you were starting out, of course, there was Yasmin, but were there any other, like, influences, people that you followed or people that you learned from?
I don't know. I connected with Audrey, Chia, Celeste, Charlie Hills. That was on the beginning stage. Who else? I don't know. And back in that time, I just push AI content and I create that AI community vibe where we just sharing not just only the new AI tools, but also what you can do with them as well. I wouldn't be the guy like that sharing breaking news, something like that. I never run in that type of trend, but I at least wait maybe few days, explore that new tool or new update from the bigger players, and then try to implement it in my daily workflow and share it. Of course, I didn't maybe get more reach, but it was really helpful for me because it helped me to, improve my day-to-day working flow on the business side. So back then I created AI community vibe where we, support each other. And yeah, I cannot remember the names right now. I don't know.
No, we mentioned a few, it's good. Were you then someone who's been always interested in AI or got interested later on in AI, or was it because you saw potential in this type of topic?
I start experimenting once I start posting active on LinkedIn. First of all, I write few posts on my own. Then I figure out, okay, man, maybe I can try with AI. Then to be honest with you, I copy and paste full outputs from AI.
It was true, game changers, I guess.
Yeah, I have a game changers. I have a rocket emojis. I have a supercharge. I have everything.
Hashtags
Unstructured
as
and
well.
everything. But after that, I share that with my audience that I learned mistake, and I have a really one great post where I try to break down, compare the AI output and how I improve it with my prompts and my unique approach. And in that moment, I get first few clients, and I build them the GPTs. I explain them, how you can humanize the content, how you can mimic your or other styles, how you can keep your tone and voice. And that was the first time when I feel that maybe I can be content marketer using AI in a unique way. But when I compared it right now, I use AI totally different. Like for me, AI right now is my like a mentor in everything. I first tell AI to ask me specific questions before I go to give him what I want. I have for example, if I'm writing the post, I ask myself specific questions, what I want to achieve with this post, then those answer is the context. Then later on, you can always have the GPT that can optimize for the mobile preview, whatever it is. And final piece for my workflow is that I never publish anything which is AI generated. I just rewrite the whole AI output. Why? Because I would like to keep my voice first. The second thing, I wanted to improve myself, because if I came to the sales call, AI cannot help me, but writing can, because I learn how I express myself. I get my unique point of view, which I can use it on the sales call or on the content, whatever I need to monetize it. And that's the reason why I, start writing more. I mean, rewriting the AI outputs. And I think the biggest hack I discover is that you can use your AI as a mentor before you want to achieve something.
I like it, and it just proves the point, that of course AI is not replacement, but just to use it as a tool. But what you said, that you rewrite it, that ultimately your point of view or your unique angle is actually what makes you stand out, which I think is one of the biggest things on LinkedIn. Of course, there are many people, a lot of content. People, try to stand out from the crowd, but it's actually trying to find your unique voice or unique angle.
Yeah, I think is the problem when you come to the creating the content. A lot of people say, "Hey, find the Yasmin Ali type of style and writing it and write it for my post." I think that's absolute wrong, because you don't need to go and copy the Yasmin Ali tone and voice. I do it like at the beginning. I'm not gonna say like I'm the guru that I'm giving advice, but that's totally wrong, because you should understand how Yasmin write and should apply into your writing and find your unique writing framework. But if you're gonna use the AI all the time, you're never gonna find your writing framework, because you're gonna copy somebody else. And that's how I find my, for example, writing framework. Most of them are the similar hook, rehook. You have a body, you have a, I don't know, maybe power ending and call to action, but you always need to include one or two pieces which will be your own. In my case, I love to compare the topic I'm writing with real life analogy example. So if, for example, if we are talking about, I don't know, customer loyalty, I'm not gonna say about retention, revenue or the numbers. I'm gonna say and to compare you the customer loyalty with the real life analogy example of your favorite cafe bar. What I mean by that is, if you want to describe that term, you go in your favorite cafe bar first time and you order the coffee and nobody knows your name, nobody knows what you drink as usual. Next time when you show up, they already know what type of coffee you drink, they already know your name, right? So if you miss 14, 15 days in that cafe bar, they're gonna tell, "Hey man, where are you? What happened? Is everything okay?"
Yeah.
Because they care about you. They used to see you in their bar. And finally, you're gonna come with your friends, right? Share the story on the Instagram, how you're drinking the coffee in that bar. And from the perspective of the bar, that's the customer loyalty, and it's applicable the same in the business. And that's how I try to, I'm not gonna say full story, but I'm gonna try to find that one piece of the context and compare that with the current topic that I'm writing. And I think that's the way how I'm trying to stand out. That's the way how I do my writing framework and style.
I like the example. I think it's unique, and I think it's also powerful because it makes reader to understand the concept, the idea, or just what you're trying to share better. So it sounds great to me. I would just say to people, don't be afraid to experiment, to try different things, because you're not going to figure out for the first time, most likely, and you never know what works. So, don't be lazy, give it some time, and give it some, trial and error to find out.
That's the only way. Try and error. By the way, when I say this about real life analogy examples, let's say this example from your favorite bar, it's a really great story because all of us have the favorite coffee shop, right? all of us can resonate with that type of the story. So all of us can imagine ourselves how we explaining the customer loyalty term through my experience in my favorite coffee bar. So that's the reason why it's really powerful.
Are you struggling to stay consistent on LinkedIn? Fan Post helps you create high quality posts in minutes, so you can write faster, show up more, and stress way less. Built by creators for creators is the easiest way to grow your presence without burning out. Try it free at fanpost.com. Yeah. And when it comes to kind of posting strategy, have you got like set days and set hours when you post?
Oh,
I remember
I
you
need to be
mentioned.
ashamed of this. I need to be ashamed of this. Like when I just posting the content when I didn't have a client, and I'm not gonna say that is my excuse, but sometimes I don't organize my time better. I don't know. Sometimes I don't want to force it to post, and even if I feel that I'm gonna post, I don't sometimes follow the posting time, which I should maybe, which I preach as well. But when it comes to my content strategy in general, I would like to have the content pillars which is connected with my positioning currently. So for example, right now I'm in affiliate space. I imagine this one content pillar for those type of the people. The second content pillar should be about AI in a way how I can use it to apply in my type of the business so I can serve that broader audience as well. And the third type of the content pillar is the mix of the building in public, my stories, newsletter, whatever it is. I don't have established clear content pillar, but I just move it as an inspirational one when it comes to my mind. I used to post at 10:30. That is my posting time, but sometimes I post around 11. Well, I cannot sometimes manage my time. I also have some private stuff to finish and everything. It's not excuse, but but the thing is, I have my commenting time, which is really important for me when it comes to my content because I invest more time in the commenting strategy when I'm gonna comment, when I'm gonna show up, because I wanted to be one of the first in your posts and others, so I can bring additional value with my comment. And then I know later on you'll figure out maybe if I'm not gonna post at 10:30, I'm gonna post until 12 p.m. and you're gonna be there for sure because I already show up earlier on your post as well. So that's the one thing, like connect my personal branding statement and positioning with my unique content pillars, divided in a different type of content angles where I can, I don't know, serve to the broad audience as a top of the funnel or grow, then come down with a case study or I don't know, convert stage of type of content. But I also use a lot of content repurposing strategy where I trying to repeat myself all the time. Sometimes it's boring, but that's the way how you, let's say, test out your expertise. Because if you are able to speak about one topic from different angles and every time is really interesting and every time brings you, let's say, more leads, more profile views, for me is best indicator when it comes to the content. Not even likes, comment, or whatever it is. I think when somebody visit your profile, especially right now when you have this new feature from the LinkedIn where you can see who exactly come from one specific post to your profile, which means your content do the job.
No, it's a good point because there is also something that I've been not struggle with, but kind of trying to focus on more, like when it comes to repeating yourself in the content, because I also sometimes feel like that it might be boring, but at the same time, you've got the new people who come, people who see your profile for the first time, and at the same time, you need to repeat the message so that it sticks in people's mind. And since there is loads of content and noise from everywhere, it's easy to get forgotten or lost or something. So repetition is indeed important.
Man, it's really important. I don't know. If somebody asks you, what's your secret sauce for success on the LinkedIn, everybody see your, I don't know, 1,000 step. Nobody see your 900 previous steps that you take. And you don't have a secret sauce. You just need to have that LinkedIn time. For example, I have specific type of my LinkedIn time, and how I also coach my clients is what you should do before the post, during the post, and after the post, and that's really crucial part, because you keep the momentum. You can maybe warm up the audience before your post. During the post, you can try to reply, not just to reply, but to really make the great conversation with your audience, especially with the new ones as well. And after the post, you should, DM the people. Not all of the DMs should be to try to, see who is your perfect client, but to establish the relationship with your community as well.
And don't do it in the first message, especially.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was working right now on a new outreach strategy, and I just tested out a few of them, and I realized the best one is when you tell the joke. You just show up and tell the stupid joke to the person who can be your prospect, and the guy will have two options. He's gonna ignore you, or gonna say, "Man, what the fuck you're talking about?" And then, or that's a really great pattern interrupt.
And I think what's even better, included that person in the joke. That might be a funny one. And you said before that you focus on, or like that the niche that you want to target is affiliate, if I remember correctly. So what made you actually to focus
Yes,
on this specific one?
I don't know. It chose me. Like, I have 3 clients from that niche, and all of them, they told me nobody served to this industry. They are
Hmm.
tired of Beehive.
Maybe we should cut this part out because now people enter as well.
Oh, like, I put it in my headline, author of LinkedIn for affiliate marketing, because I didn't find anybody else who is serving to this niche. So that's the first thing why I pivoted. Second thing, I don't know, I feel like connected with this type of industry. They really believe in a relationship investment, people to people. All of their lead generation flow goes on the conferences, and they do the handshake, and then they follow up each other's, to do the business. But most of them, they don't have a strong personal brand online presence. I don't know on the other platforms, but on the LinkedIn, I didn't find a lot of people who are really successful that,
Yeah.
in the leading industry. Their two most favorite podcasts, they didn't even perform well on the LinkedIn as well, but are really great, and I follow them. And generally, I feel like it's much easier for me to learn through one industry in one specific niche, because if I'm going to say I help CEOs or founders, then those CEOs and founders will come from different type of industry. And every time I need to learn about that industry, how I can help them better. Now, if I just learn about one industry, it's really easier for me to scale than to see some patterns that I can improve in my offer, so my service can have better flow, go faster, because I do it the same thing 10 times. I don't need to tell you again. I can record it, show you the previous example of the same type of the client. I don't know. It's way, way more easier. One more thing as well, I find 4 person from this industry that I connected with, and whatever I built to try to build as my core offer right now, I ask them for the feedback. They can use it, test it out. Is it great? Because my biggest pain point right now regarding to this industry is that I never been affiliate. That's the problem. I never run any traffic, whatever it is. I know a lot of things about content and LinkedIn, but the other part where I need to have experience to feel those people who have the mindset. I never go on the affiliate industries as well. So I'm learning about the mindset of these people, how they run the business. And it's great too, because I learn with my clients, which is great. I ask them the specific questions, so I can understand how they, I don't know, sell or buy the traffic, how they, interact with their clients, what are the pain points and stuff like that. So I can imagine that picture and how I can combine that with the LinkedIn service and content they should produce. And that's the way how I learn it. So biggest pain point, as I said, when you never be an affiliate, it's really hard to serve them. But at the same time, my biggest power is I will have the program which is just adjusted for those type of people, which means I'm not gonna be in a saturated niche anymore. For example, you see, I mean, it's funny. I don't know if you notice, but we mentioned on the beginning of this, if you're spending too much time on the LinkedIn, you become a LinkedIn service provider, right? And a lot of us offering the similar services, right? Personal branding, lead gen through LinkedIn, everything. But I realize, okay, if I build something that is just aligned for one specific people, I own the niche, and they can go to those people, and they will need to spend a lot of time by they're gonna ask them a lot of questions to understand what is their business, what they should say, what shouldn't, and they go maybe gonna come back to me. And, hey man, you didn't ask me these questions. We can work together because I don't have a time for this. Because I already give them everything. I already do this with the 3 previous clients, and I'm counting on more. And yeah, so right now I coach them. At the same time, I have offer to, I think, done with you and done for you. Done with you is coaching. Done for you is creating content.
Yeah, I was just going to say before that, you see on LinkedIn daily so many people like building brands for founders, CEOs, I don't know, lead this and that. But when it comes to affiliate, as you said, maybe I haven't noticed or I haven't paid attention to it, but I don't know anyone. So it's just smart to me to own the niche, pick something where you become a pro, where you become remembered for that specific one. Because although LinkedIn is still kind of social platform with not that many people as compared to others, but still you've got so many people like when it comes to branding for founders, CEOs and stuff like this. So I think just prove the great point that it's worth exploring the niches and find something that you will dominate.
Exactly, man. It is risky at the same time. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect choice. I need to pivot. I need to test it out. But I don't know. You know that feeling when you feel comfortable to doing this. It's I don't know. I don't need to. You're not gonna even compare with anybody else. I'm not say I'm comparing because I don't have any to compare with anybody else because I don't have a skill competition. I didn't find this for this type of. I would like to have, to get inspired, whatever it is. But at the same time, I'm learning on my own and testing out. So yeah, it's a great point because I figure out that I'm really saturated. I'm not say I blend to all of these people. All of these people who are offering a LinkedIn service, I respect them. I learn a lot from them. But if somebody telling me about how to find a niche, but at the same time he's serving whatever he comes, when you're targeting the CEOs and founders, you cannot talk about how to find your niche and your content. That's the one I know.
I just feel like that I said it already as well, but that I can kind of relate to it with my podcast because before I used to speak with kind of content creators in general, and while I really enjoyed it, I still felt like that it was too broad, and there are already many podcasts like that. But then when I decided to focus on LinkedIn, I felt like that it changed kind of everything, that it makes it much easier to what people I talk to about the topics, like the audience that I target, and I enjoy it much more as well. But it hasn't happened in the beginning. So my advice or the message would be it doesn't, click immediately, and don't be afraid to explore, try things. It might take time, but I think that in the end it's worth it.
Great advice. What I can add on this is like, look, I'm in the position that I pivot into the new niche. But what if I don't succeed in this niche, I can always come back and pivot into the new niche. So the point is here, at least pick a niche for 2 months, one niche. Try to serve it, try to explore it. If it's not working, you can always come back to your main offer and do again. I don't know why to be afraid. Like what? Okay, my situation. Okay, I build the audience about content marketing and AI, and I can serve a lot of coaches, solopreneurs, CEOs, whatever it is. I can always come back to that niche, be broad. So I can say I create system for creators to serve better clients or whatever it is. But the point is here is that I'm gonna get really more way clarity when I serve to the one industry, one specific type of the person.
And I think it's much better to find out that maybe it wasn't the right decision and pivot to something else than be thinking for the rest of your life, oh, what if I tried that? Maybe it would
Should
work out. So like the no regret, I would say. Then my question, which of course I have to ask you, is if you can share your favorite AI tools or the tools that you use.
I'm gonna start with your new tool, FanPost. I really like your integration about meme generator.
Oh,
I love.
oh my god, it's my favorite one as well.
Yeah,
We need to shout out to Yonut. Yonut is amazing. Always great features, quick clips.
yeah.
Shout out to him. And thank you, Seb, as well, because this is not sponsored, so we haven't agreed on it before. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't agree about it. Like we don't make an agreement about it. But basically, your tool is the latest tool I tried. So I use it like in a way that I try to build my commenting strategy through the GIFs. I don't know, sometimes memes. I also try to, let's say, pick my brain, but at the end of the day, I write my post as well. So I really like the way how you build this because you tried first to understand the creators, then share the features, which is great approach as a someone to build tool. The second tool I use, of course, as the usual one, Canva, Notion must have Canva for all the branding templates and design, Notion almost for everything in my business. Third one, I mean, those are AI tools as well, but ChatGPT and Claude, both of them, I use N8N for some simple automations. I'm still learning about N8N.
And sorry, what are the use cases for GPT versus Claude?
I don't know. For the ChatGPT, I like this GPT integration. It's really easier to build something and share with the audience. When you want to share the Claude project, you need to share the prompt. You should need to share your files, resources, and everything so that person can build the same. That's the only thing. If that Cloud have in there, like Cloud GPTs, I will use Cloud all the time. Now, especially with this new updated MCP server, I don't know if you meant yesterday, I tested out to organize my emails, labels, and my calendar. I do everything directly from the cloud. It's really easy to connect. Now, also with the Zapier, you can connect over thousands of different applications with one API standard protocol, which is MCP, and which basically bring us on the beginning of the stage of this AI era where you just do everything from the ChatGPT interface. Now you're going to do the same from the cloud interface, where you don't need to jump from one platform to another. You can run everything directly from the cloud. You can even do the cloud projects for different tasks, then connect them with these MCP servers, which is great. Now that's the reason why I'm using, that is the fourth tool, which is Zapier. I love about the Zapier this integration with the cloud because it gives you access whatever you want directly from the cloud. So I'm thinking about to create some workflows from that perspective, such as, I don't know, for example, client onboarding process. I wanted to create in Zapier automation where if somebody book a call with me, then goes into another step, which will be the webhook to explore everything about that person. The next step, I have my sales script template which should be adjusted with the information that scrape the context about that person. So I can always have different sales script for the call adjusted for one person. I can do it everything from the call. What is for me, for the ChatGPT, I love the deep search feature. It is really great, that you can search on. I don't use any more Perplexity, for example, after this new update with the ChatGPT, because I don't need it. What else? I have few cool extensions as well, which is Folk. I have Clio, for the Clio. I have a Notion extension as well, where I'm building my swipe file with my favorite content on LinkedIn. So I moved everything on the Notion, organized it by tags, descriptions, what's the main message of the content, and some notes that I can take for myself why I save this type of post, which I later on try to use it in my strategy. And I don't know. That's it. I think you don't need any more tools. Maybe something for the video. I think Riverside will be one option that I can try. I also use Tela for screen recording, and that's it.
Oh yeah, I heard of that one. So yeah, sounds good. And of course, Riverside. We are recording now with Riverside, and it's my favorite one, so I can only recommend it as well. But great tools. I asked just before about ChatGPT versus Claude because I use ChatGPT, but sometimes I'm unsure if I should dive into Claude as well because often hear like a good news and a good stuff about it. But I feel like I don't want to overcomplicate it, and I try to stick with one if I'm happy with that.
That's great strategy. But you know what you can also try? To handle one thing between those two LLMs. So you can go with ChatGPT, and ChatGPT give you one output, and you come to the cloud and look this output cloud. The ChatGPT don't know a shit. Why? Let's improve this. Like you pump it up, and then cloud like give you the best option, and then you come back to the ChatGPT and test it out. I play around sometimes.
That is true, but I'm afraid that I would spend so long doing it. But Seth, I want to ask you a few lighter questions as we'll be approaching the end. So, what are your hobbies, or what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
My free time, I used to do boxing almost 3 years, and I stopped last year. Right now, I'm playing football a little bit when it comes to sport.
Why did you stop with boxing?
I don't know, because I moved to the new place and I didn't have the same crew, and it's not the same. I don't know. I'm finding the new maybe boxing club here. Where's my new apartment? But I will see. Maybe I'm gonna start after this summer. I love to do boxing during these winter seasons and be, inside of the club. Later on during the summer, we do some shadow and those sparring fights outside of it. So it's really great. So there's one thing. Second thing I do like one time per month at least hiking, and visit something because we have a really beautiful nature here in Bosnia, mountains, lakes, and whatever it is, and do other occasional stuff like read a book, watch the really great podcast on my free time.
Got any book recommendations?
The last book I read, it was Atomic Habits, but you already read it, I'm sure.
Yeah, by James Clear. I think it's a must read. I would recommend it to everyone.
Yeah, it was really long time on my list. I never read it, so it's really great.
And anything that is on your list that you want to read in the future?
Influence from the Caldini. I need to read The Influence.
Someone mentioned it in one of the previous episodes, so it's definitely good. When it comes to movies, got any favorite movies?
I don't know. I watched right now the new season of Black Mirror. That's the series. They launched a new season. Also, I watch mostly the TV shows. Like I don't watch the movies. Last one also was Zero Day with Robert De Niro as well. Really great episode. And the movie last I really enjoyed, I cannot remember.
You probably watch only bad ones.
Yeah. So it's better that I cannot remember. What about you?
that's a tough one because I don't watch as much. I know like which ones are my favorite. It's probably not going to be much of surprise, but I'm a big fan of Chris Nolan, and I think the Batman trilogy he made is probably one of the best. Like Dark Knight, the one of the best films ever made, and the whole trilogy I just loved it because I don't know, Nolan is amazing. I like superheroes. I like Batman, so that was a great one.
Yeah, I also enjoyed. I watched every Batman trilogy. Great.
And I, before interrupted you, I think after we're speaking about the books, was there anything that you wanted to add?
I don't know. I trying to keep. I'm really humble guy, keeping it simple, because before I don't know 5 years ago, I love to do a lot of party. I love electronic music. I go on festivals. Right now, it's not for me that type of style anymore. But I still enjoying to listen really great music, especially the electronic music or the hip hop. This is like a everyday routine in my life. When it comes to the motivation, when I want to relax, I really have different type of music. I even use on my newsletter my track of the day because I'm really connected with the music. I also have a great friends because we connected with the music, and the music has a really big influence on me. And I don't know, maybe in the future I would love to buy some controller and start DJing, but for myself, not for like I wanted to like play around with the music because
Mm.
it's become more fun to listen, you know. So the music has really big influence on my life in general. Through the music, I'll meet a lot of people, you know, build a community like real communities, not like online communities, connected with the great people. And I was always remember that I have a really great taste for the music when it comes to electronic music. And I know a lot of DJs. They are playing especially in my hometown. And during that, let's say, raving period in my life, I used to send them some of the tracks. And then when I come to the party, I was really happy when they play that track. And you have also communication with the DJ. He already know that like I'm not gonna he played that track just because of me, but he's really thankful because I share that track, and it's really great addition to the whole set. So the music is definitely the last thing that I can add, and I'm really enjoyed. I don't.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to see in the future suddenly when you change from posting about AI or marketing and suddenly we see some, music from you. And at the time you have, big LinkedIn audience. So you never know when the audience might be helpful in the future.
Yeah, what do you think? Like to add in a pinned comments the track of the day. What do you think about that?
I think that that's a unique idea. I think I haven't seen it yet, and definitely
That's
give
I
it a
think
try.
which is great. Nobody using, so maybe I can add.
Do it. And if it's already in the newsletter, it's probably something that you are known for and wouldn't feel, I don't know, that unusual. And for you, it's simple. You can just copy and paste it from the newsletter to LinkedIn. So yeah, go for it. So Seb, we discussed it already, but can you summarize where people can find you, follow you, and promote any of your services?
They can find me on my LinkedIn account. I have my newsletter Grow with the Flow, which I highly recommend. And I'm investing most of my efforts to share all of my wins and struggles. What I'm doing next is that I'm gonna launching the waiting list for affiliates. So if anybody from your network is a publisher or advertiser and wants to grow the LinkedIn and monetize it, I think this coaching program will be unique because it's just adjusted for those type of people. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm really enjoying this session, man. I'm really happy to express myself, to share my story, And yeah, let's grow together now.
I thank you so much. I hope audience haven't noticed, but we experienced some technical challenges, which is part of the recording. And I really enjoyed it. I think we are a great proof of potential of LinkedIn, like the relationship that we've built, although we've never seen each other in real life. So thank you so much. I always greatly appreciate your support. I hope that people will enjoy this recording because I really did. Of course, we can do the sequel in the future. And yeah, thank you so much. I will keep following and supporting and keep doing the great work.
Thank you, my bro, and see you on the feed and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Produced by with Tomen. Check the show notes for all the links, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your feedback. Speak soon.